What is going on, Arkansas Razorback fans and SEC fans everywhere? Welcome. This is, of course, the Pig Trail Network. I am Tyzilla83, and I want to thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the video as we talk about 2017 signing day here on February 1st. So we'll get into that and everything around recruiting here in just a second. But, of course, at the end of the video, if you would, like, comment, share the content that you're watching. And, of course, if you haven't already, feel free to tap that subscribe button down below. Signing day, finally, that day in which, you know, the coaching staffs all around the country work 365 days out of the year for this day. They wait for this moment, the day when players officially sign with their team. And for Bret Bielema this year, no real big surprises on signing day. Nobody flipped. There were some rumors that maybe a player or two had some last second, other teams at the last second try and get them to go to their schools, but they wound up signing with the Hogs. The only, I guess, surprise if you weren't really paying attention for the Razorbacks was they gained a verbal commit / signee today in Chevin Callaway, 4-star corner out of Dallas, Texas, big-time get for the Hogs. This guy had an incredible list of offers, and that doesn't always make the player. I mean, you've seen some fantastic 5-star, highly recruited players end up with like 3 offers. His film is impressive. Everything I've read about him is impressive. Richard Davenport is obviously all about this kid. Basically, the majority of the local recruiting people in this area are very excited to have Chevin Callaway here, more than just a star, simply because of what he was able to do on the field in the state of Texas. Serious, they take high school football over there. Big time get. He's definitely a kid that I'd be surprised if they redshirted. But other than that, no real surprises. There were some rumors that McClellan, the corner, had a last-minute offer from Florida, but decided he wanted to stay home. He wanted to stay close to home, but ended up signing with the Hogs anyways. So let's go over the class overall, my feelings on it, before I get into picking my favorites or anything. I'm a little bit concerned with this transition from a 3-4 defense, or from a 4-3 defense to a 3-4 defense. I'm a little bit concerned that, there's no one that they signed, no linebacker, no defensive tackle, no defensive end, that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable about that transition. And if you look at this class, I'm not calling it a bad recruiting class. I'm not calling the linebackers and the defensive linemen they do have in this class bad. I just don't see any that jump off the screen at me. It's not like you're to read through the list of names and there's not a single one where I go, oh my God, that kid's not going to get redshirt. He's going to be a baller. We don't really have that. Similar to like what we had last year with Sosa Agim, what the Razorbacks had a year ago with him. You knew he jumped off paper at you. Guess what? He played. He didn't start all year, but he played a lot. Made some plays, had some sacks, had some TFLs. His presence was known as a true freshman because he jumped off the screen at you. You knew how big time he was, more so than his 5 stars or the fact that he was recruited so highly. You just knew, and I don't feel that way. I don't think there's anybody here. As far as the linebackers and the defensive linemen, your front 6, front 7, there's nobody here that really jumps off the page. Corners, yes. Chevin, like I said, Callaway, Monteric Brown. I even feel good about Cameron Curl. I think he's a guy in the future could develop into a pretty good player on the defense. Offensively, there are 2 or 3 guys that jump off the page. Brandon Martin, obviously, #1 JUCO wide receiver, 6'4". I've read conflicting reports on his actual weight. I've read 205, then I've read 220. I've watched video on him. I've read about him. I've listened, Richard Davenport today on Bo Mangley's show said that he's got an NFL talent written all over him. He could be the, Arkansas's version of Sammy Coates, what he was to Auburn. So, hopefully hopefully he pans out. I'm not saying that any of these guys are going to be bad. I'm not saying that any of these guys are going to be good. Just giving you my first impression of these guys on paper. The other guy that jumps off the page at me on offense is obviously Jeremy Patton, #1 JUCO tight end. If you watch his video, if you read about him, he's pretty impressive. Wouldn't surprise me if he has to work his way into the starting role in the lineup on the depth chart for the Razorbacks at the tight end spot, because he's not going to be here for the spring because of grades, which was originally reported that he would be an early enrollee, but he's not going to be here. And tight end spot, we've got a couple of guys. They're unproven. Cheyenne O'Grady who I think is going to be a baller if he sticks to if he keeps buying into what they're selling on offense over there. I think Cheyenne O'Grady, I think he's got NFL potential written all over him. And of course you've got Austin Cantrell who was primarily Sprinkle's backup last year. So Patton's going to have to beat those guys out. So that's why I think it's going to be a little bit of a climb. Those are the names. Those are the guys. Another name I'll drop really quick, Colian Jackson, obviously the son of Keith Jackson, who was color commentator with Chuck Barrett, the voice of the Razorbacks, for a number of years. Played at Oklahoma in his college days back in the day. Colian Jackson, he's a wideout, 6'3", 210 pounds. He's pretty impressive. Another conflicting report on his 40 time. I have no idea what his 40 is. I've read 4.5, 4.6. But he's big, he's physical, could develop into what Greg Childs was kind of developing into before he got injured. Could become that kind. Remember, Greg Childs wasn't highly recruited out of high school. Colian Jackson, kind of the same way. And I think he's got the mold. I think he's got the frame. He's obviously smart offensively. He played quarterback before he transferred in high school. So he's got the IQ. Could become a pretty good wide receiver with the Razorbacks. We'll have to wait and see with him. There are a number of names here of guys I think could develop into something special. But again, nobody here on defense really shines too bright. But hopefully that changes. Hopefully they develop into monsters, which is something Brett Bielema was known for doing at Wisconsin. And he's been able to do that here to some extent, developing some of these lower rated players. Let me know down below what you guys think. Is there anybody that I missed that maybe you think, oh my God, this guy's a baller, how could you not mention him? Let me know. So leave a comment down below. Again, thanks for watching. Until the next video,